Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, live the life we love. Well, it's Thursday, so it's one of my storytelling days. You know, once two people came to visit the holy original rabbi. One who was a storyteller, had a book of stories, raconteur, and the other was a great scholar who'd written tremendously erudite treatises on the halacha and the Jewish law. So the attendant of the rabbi asked the rabbi, well, who shall I show in first? The rabbi said, show in the storyteller first, which the attendant thought was weird because why would you just let have some entertainer have the first shot at you when the scholar, this great scholar, is here? But he listened to the rabbi anyway, and that's how it was. And so the story comes and he says, oh, such a beautiful book, the rabbi says. This is really going to help a lot of people. God bless you. And then the scholar comes and says, oh, this is so deep. This is like this could have been given on Sinai. And then both leave. And then the attendant goes to the rabbi and says, Rabbi, I don't understand. Why did you give preference to see the storyteller first and not the scholar? He said, it was really simple. At the beginning, there was only stories. God told stories. He told stories about Genesis, about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and so forth. It wasn't only till Sinai that the law was actually given. So I'm just following suit. First I honored the storyteller, and then I honored the person who gave the cosmic law. They say spirit created human beings because spirit loves stories. And where do stories come from? The imagination. I'm always talking about the romance with the imagination. And people can go without food for weeks, maybe, water, a couple of days, breath, maybe a few minutes. But the one thing people can't do without for not even a second is imagination. So share your stories, share your dreams, share what's in your imagination. That's how you become friends with people. All right, journaling question for the day. I wrestle with this all the time. I wonder if you do also. I always ask myself, what criticism gets me defensive and puts me on attack mode? What don't I want to hear about myself or believe about myself that makes me want to parry every thrust that anybody would offer to me that might make me see myself in a different way. Anyway, I try to find some kind of sacred space, enter into transformative space, so the things that are split within me, I can integrate, I can unite. And although traditionally, sometimes being in a landscape that shifts from one type of terrain to another, like, the city ends and the country begins. So this is why so many initiations take place by the seashore, by the mountain, in the desert, in the jungle, in the forest, where one aspect of how things are at the level of the land changes into something else. It becomes a psychological statement as well. Moving from one way of looking at things to another way of looking at things, conditioned by what the environment is. And the boundaries of all your social status fall away, and you're just with nature. Beautiful. So how do you find a mythology that works for you, a story that works for you? Well, it only will have relevance to you if it hits you below the thinking level. Got to take you out of your verbal mind. It should bring you to the place within you that excites wonder about the fact that you're alive at all, that life exists at all, that the universe is stupendous, but you got to feel it in your guts, because if you don't feel it in your life. So some people think that by earning money, they'll be secure, but that's really the insecure way. And by, as the Irish say, the only security is insecurity. So it's the richness of the quest. I believe that's where you really find wealth. And you may or may not have the external reflections of it. But once you understand that just like any animal, our first, second, and third chakra, we have the same interests. Number one, we cling to life. Number two, we beget life. And number three, we try to win and find our place. But once you hit the fourth stage, from the heart above, now you turn to the spiritual quest as being, this is what's next in my life. So I hope that you take delight in yourself, even the slightest bit of difference that shows you you're not anybody else. They don't think the same way you do, act the same way, eat the same way, talk the same way, suffer the same way. And you have the power to cleanse your own mind of wrong ideas about yourself and about life. So what I suggest is do the thing you love to do, just for the thrill of it, just for the joy of it. Whether you make money from it or not, doesn't matter. But if you're doing it because you love it, it'll radiate. And then you'll radiate the joy of your devotion to it through good works, the way you act to other people. So even if you don't have anybody else, beat the drum of your own magnificence. Do things that satisfy in the moment why you're in love with life. Don't just criticize and inhibit yourself. And that way you'll enjoy other people's company. And you'll learn to be a much broader planetary citizen, replacing any kind of evaluation or animosity that demonizes other people with a concern for all people's well-being. If you got that, you'll understand how to build inner wealth and success, and then your subconscious mind will make sure that you always have plenty, and even plenty to spare.